Welcome back to Press Review. Let's start by taking a look at today's front pages in the Middle East. The UAE's Khalij Times leads reporting that Thailand's Army Chief General Prayuth Chan-o-cha seized control over the government in a coup 2 days after he declared martial law, saying the military had to restore order and push through reforms after 6 months of turmoil. The paper also reports that explosive hurls from 2 vehicles which plowed into an open market in China's troubled Xinjiang region, killing 31 people. From Saudi Arabia, the Arab News reports that Prince Salman has called for greater efforts to strengthen Saudi role in the 57-member Organization of Islamic Cooperation. The paper also reports that a Saudi who works at the Civil Defense Department in Riyadh has been honored for his efforts to save lives of 2 children from a fire that broke out at a gas station in Salil, 575 kilometers southeast of the capital. The Jerusalem Post reports that Pope Francis arrives in the Middle East on Saturday with a prayer of peace for a parched region. It also reports that, according to an official, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is open to discussion with his coalition partners about alternatives to direct negotiations with the Palestinians should the Fatah-Hamas unity deal take root. The Egypt Independent leads reporting that the Cairo Court of Appeal has set Thursday the 7th of June as the date to start the trial of 9 defendants, including 3 German archaeologists, before the Giza Criminal Court over charges of seizing and facilitating the seizure of samples and artifacts from the Giza pyramids and smuggling them abroad in April 2013. The paper also reports that Antiquities Minister Mohammed Ibrahim said a British court issued a decree ordering the return of 6 artifacts to Egypt after they were smuggled into England after the 2011 revolution. From Beirut, the Daily Star reports that President Michel Sleiman has said that despite political hindrances, he remains assured over the situation in the country during a farewell meeting with employees of the presidential palace in Babda and journalists. The paper also reports that Lebanese Forces leader Dr. Sami Jaja discussed the next steps in the presidential election with an aide of former Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri, focusing on the 5th boycott of the parliamentary session to choose a new head of state by some March 8 politicians. And now let's take a look at the top Middle East news from papers here in the UK. The Guardian leads Middle East news with an exclusive interview with former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, who says the world has let down the people of Syria, leaving tens of thousands to die as neighboring nations wage proxy wars instead of working to prevent the bloodshed that has engulfed the country for the past 3 years. The Telegraph also leads its Middle East news with Syria, reporting that Syrian troops broke a year-long rebel siege of a prison in the northern city of Aleppo on Thursday, allowing President Bashar al-Assad's forces to close in on a nearby command center of a coalition of Islamist rebel groups. And now let's have a look at the top stories in international papers. China's Global Times reports that Russia and China, 2 permanent members of the UN Security Council, wielded veto power over a draft resolution which is intended to refer the Syrian civil war to the International Criminal Court. The paper says the vote at the 15-nation UN body made it a 4th double veto by Russia and China on a West-drafted resolution on Syria. From Germany, the Deutsche Welle reports that a 2nd person has died from injuries sustained in a protest in Istanbul. The paper adds that Istanbul's Governor Avni Mutlu said at least 8 police officers and another person had been injured during the clashes, which saw police firing live ammunition, tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse demonstrators protesting about the death of a 15-year-old youth, Berkin Elvan, who died in March from wounds received 9 months before in clashes with the police. And finally, the International New York Times reports that according to a poll released by the New Research Center, only a narrow majority of Egyptians support Egypt's former General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who is universally expected to win a landslide victory in next week's presidential election. That was it for today. For more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching Press Review. Be sure to join us again on Monday, and bye for now.